This is Jewell Loyd. Most of you guys know me as a WNBA champion, an Olympian, college dropout, but let's add storyteller to that list. I'm bringing my amazing community, my experiences to you and everyone across the world. Welcome to the warehouse.
Coaches are now being held more accountable. To watch coaches grow more, to be more nurturing, growth-oriented, and supportive of players, I'm excited to see that. My job is to support the person that I'm working with, whether it's a 10-year-old or, best two guard on the planet, to help her with her thinking, not to try to manipulate it, but try to support her, challenge her, and let her work through it. Because all great shooters do the work.
Yeah.
No coach does the work. I don't do the work. I can see the problem and maybe make a plan, but I can't do it. You have to do it. I really want to try to help them find energy in themselves to do the work. I'm looking for savages.
Welcome back to the warehouse, the space where mindset meets mastery, craft meets community, and where we dig into what it really takes to grow, create, and perform at the highest level. I'm Jewell. This is Danny. Today's guest is someone who knows my game better than most. He's been there through the grind, the evolution, the downs, the ups, all the details. And he really knows what really works and what really doesn't work. Steve Pratt is the founder of Full Package Athletics, one of the most respected shooting coaches in the game. He's helped shape countless players, from high school prospects to pros, by focusing not just on mechanics, but mindset, discipline, and the bigger purpose of life. Today, we're going to talk about the craft of shooting and many other things, patience, which he loves, the process and the partnership it takes to stay consistent every season. We'll dive into the game, the evolution, what it really means to really master your gifts, and how to stay connected. And what's really important is the why. Let's welcome back to the warehouse, Steve Pratt.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Steve.
Thanks, Jewell.
Steve. How you been?
Been good. Busy.
Busy?
Yeah,
Booked and busy?
transitioning from being like just direct coaching players to coaching coaches and players. And I've always kind of coached coaches, but now I'm really I'm diving into that, and I'm studying it, and it's fun. It's a fun journey. It's sometimes I get paused in it. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's fun.
So the players stressed you out too much. You had to go to coaches.
Players don't stress me out.
This
Players get stressed out by me.
Facts. True statement. The trauma is real in the warehouse. The trauma is real.
Yeah. So Steve, you're basically broadening, your community. You're adding on to coaching. When you say that you're not putting stress on, or the players don't stress you out, what stresses you out about coaches?
Nah, nothing. I think I look at every person's on their personal journey, and so I just try to join in. If they tell me one thing, and then I try to help them build a plan for that, and they're not doing it, well, then I hold them accountable. But I don't really want to. I think I like to help support people on their own individual journey as a player or a coach, and to not be a coach like anybody else, but be who they are, and find tools.
So here on the warehouse, one of the biggest things is community.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the warehouse is Jewell's community, your community, and everything else. But when you think about Jewell's journey, from her early days here at the warehouse to now, as a three-time WNBA champ now, what story do you think of her? Like when you just think of that, like the whole journey, the process, what's the one story that pops in?
It's funny when you say that. The thing that pops in my mind is Jewell explained to me what she went through in 7th grade. And the 7th grade was a really hard year for her. She was a little overweight. She was dyslexic. Was it even diagnosed at that point? So she's undiagnosed dyslexia. She was a little chubby. And her group of friends, like all those guys that came alongside of her and lived her life with her, like playing basketball and going to school every day. And to me, that's she has repeated that over and over. She's built that community over and over again. And, I'm fortunate enough that she included me in that community. So
Shout out to LH guys. They know who they are. Most people in our circle knows.
Lincoln Hall, man.
We thrive in that area. Still friends, still connected. 20 years later, group chat still active.
Yeah.
Those guys,
they show up.
They show up.
They show up for you. And that's awesome. So, yeah. That's what I think about in her journey. I think about her start, really, where she gave up tennis and she was going through her own personal trauma, and she had these dudes that just hooped with her. Yep.
To this day. To this day.
To this day. No, we ended together. Steve, can you describe 2025 season from your eyes?
Oh. Well, we got to go back to Seattle. I think we got to look at that. And that was where you made the decision to go back out of commitment to the people there that you trusted. And I couldn't argue, like, it's your journey. I advised, and I didn't said, hey, well, I ride with Jewell. Jewell's intelligent. She reads a room really well. She can, and so I was like, okay, we'll do it. I think she should have waited and all this, but she didn't. And then she went through it, and it was traumatic. And so then she went, when she made the decision to go to Seattle, I said, okay, you're going against what I advised, but I'm going to ride with you the whole way. But the next time I advise you, take my advice or don't ask for it. And so the Seattle thing goes down. She was just going to go ask for a trade. I advised her and her brother not to. Said they should ask for it to be evaluated what happened so that people can be held accountable and people could see the information and what really went on. And I don't think they saw everything that went on. It wasn't healthy, but that was the starting point where it got out and it told the story. It started the story, so at least there wasn't just, because there was a narrative that was being spun that Jewell wasn't good and that she was being a brat, she wasn't accepting her role. That was a narrative that was being spun by, and it was a lie. Now, was she being bratty? I'm sure. But she'd been lied to and promised things. And what are you going to do if the people you trust and in that community that was her home, all of a sudden didn't do what they said? And so that we got through that. And then I said, okay, she calls me and says, okay, what do you think? What are my options? I said, Vegas. Because I knew Kelsey Plum was leaving. And I was like, that's it, get to Vegas. I go, you'll show people who you are there, And so to me, it was simple. I know Becky's an outstanding coach. I'd seen the work she'd done. I'd seen how she got control of her locker room. When you have that many superstars, being able to manage it is really the job. And she's good at X and O's too, but really managing superstars is
different personalities.
Phil Jackson, Pat Riley. You got to have your way of connecting. Billy Donovan does a great job of it here in Chicago. But you got to connect with your superstars and be able to get them to play together. So I trusted that would work out. Didn't seem like that in the beginning of the year, though.
Oh, Steve. I mean, yeah. We'll get into it a little later about the conversation we had on the phone and how our communication just grew stronger and stronger. But we'll wait.
Well, Monte and I, first I yelled at him a lot. I'm like, really? This is what you've done? Like, this is what you've done with her? So he was getting some abuse by me. But he got more upset about it than I did. At some point I said, okay, she's smart and she's going to figure it out. Like, I trusted you. I knew that you were seeing what was happening, and I saw how you were backing up. And I thought that was, again, intelligent as a personal coach, and knowing that you're one of the better players in the world. To watch it was like would Kobe do that? Yeah. Kobe wouldn't do that. No chance Kobe would do that.
Yeah.
So, but it was brilliant. In the end of the day, it was brilliant. And the fact that you like forced Becky to bench you, I was like, that's not like Kobe. But then as soon as you did it, you saw it. You knew it would happen. Well, I don't think you knew how they would change. You just thought you'd get more shots because they'd be tired.
Yeah, I just thought the rhythm would just be different. Usually when subs come in, everyone's like, oh, thank God I get a break. And they take a second to breathe. And you're like, now I could go. Fresh legs, So I mentioned this the other time. I'm like, me and Dana had the same mindset. Like, when we come in, we're going. Like, there's full gas, no break. Like, Energizer, we're coming in, just be annoying. Like, on both sides of the floor as much as we can. And that's how we played. And so that was just my mindset. It's like, usually sub come in, they're like, okay, perfect. I take
I thought that turned out again. And I had to tell Monte, because Monte's still pissed, right? Yeah, she's not attacking closeouts.
I know.
She's not handling the ball. She drives like a marshmallow. She's so soft when she goes to the hoop. So we're in these conversations.
Like a marshmallow.
And I'm like, all right, where are we at? What can we do to support her? And then it just started to work. And you guys, they started giving you the ball more. You started having more opportunities. And then you guys got on that 17-game winning streak, and it was like friggin' Jewell. I called Monte up, and he didn't want to admit it. I'm like, she was right. Like, like not on your drives to the basket, but on the,
don't worry about that.
Like that. But again, I think you're brilliant at that. I think you really do a good job of reading rooms, and obviously Monte's great at it too. So, it was cool. It was cool to watch you shrink yourself for your team, which I think you've been consistent at your whole career. You always are trying to win. Like, it really reminded me of Game 5 against Phoenix. They put Brianna January on you. Like, this series is one of the best series I've ever watched in women's basketball. It was awesome. Like, both teams were playing great. Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner, Sue Bird, Stewie, you. It was just like epic, right?
Stars everywhere.
And but they would put Brianna on her. But then when Jewell would sub out, they'd move Brianna back to Sue, which opened up for the guards to attack from the wings. And Sammy was unbelievable.
She didn't miss. She got hot.
She got hot.
Like, she didn't play all series. And in this game, I'm like, bro, like, Sammy got hot.
She got rolling.
Take me out. Take me out.
Well, no, it wasn't like that. Dan came down. It was 4 minutes left. You guys were on a run. Sue got hot because now
to hit her face mask, she would lit up. Everyone's like, rallying behind Sue. Like, don't hit the nose, man. Don't hit Sue's nose.
And she hit 4 threes in the fourth quarter. And Dan, I'll never forget, I'm watching the game, and Dan Hughes walks down, goes, "Hey, Jewell, you want to go in?" And you shake him off. You say, "No, leave Sammy in. She's doing good." And to me, that epitomizes that you will do what is right to win for your team. And I love that about you.
I kind of have a basically question for both you guys. Did you feel like, and you can answer this too, did you feel like since you were the new kid on the block, you had to make that decision to go to Becky? Or did you feel like, hey, like, do I need to do this? Or like, what was that process? And that's a question for both of you. Just because you're new to the team, do you have to raise your hand and be like, you know what, I'm gonna take that and go to the 6?
I think because I was new, I had different eyes on things that they couldn't see. I had a different perspective. And I also felt like I was mature enough in my growth and my development, who I am, that I could do that. And it still doesn't affect anything. My legacy, what I've done, what I can do. And I had the respect and trust of the team. And so with new eyes and new mindset, I think that's why I saw it and no one else did. And so my ability to keep saying to Becky, put me on the bench, She's like, no. I mean, it was like 2 weeks of me going back and forth. Like, every single coach is like, are you kidding me? Like, you're not coming off the bench. Like, I'm like, relax. Just trust me. Like, and then, and so I think that's why I saw it and no one else did until late. And then it was like, okay, this makes sense. But just having a new set of, eyes on it and understand the environment and kind of seeing what we needed, I felt like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we just go back and we just figure it out. But that's kind of how I saw, I don't know, it.
Well, I think when you guys got pummeled by 50 by Minnesota.
53.
53?
Yeah.
53 points.
I think they were looking for answers, right? They were looking to solve it. And to Becky's credit, man, I mean, she really, that was a complicated situation because Jackie is emerging. Like, she's emerging differently.
Yeah.
And she wants to emerge. But Asia is just Asia, right? So you had that had nothing to do with you, but that was just Jackie growing into this dominant force as a guard.
Yeah.
And Asia being the best player in the world, period, and proving it again. And so they had to work through that. And I thought you did a really good job of staying out of the way of that. Like, and you couldn't see it clearly. Like, I'm just like, go get her. I'm Kobe. Like,
just attack. Yeah.
Right. But you didn't need to be that. You needed to win a championship and you needed to fit in. And I thought, again, it was brilliant. It's brilliant. I still think you could attack more closeouts.
I know, the closeouts, layups, finishes. I get it. Trust me, it was a joke in the locker room too. When I made a layup, everyone's cheering. We understood. Okay, we made a joke about it. So
okay,
don't
as
worry.
long as they're joking.
We're very open about it. Very open in the locker room about us missing wide open layups. It's.
Yeah, I was looking at Jewell's highlights from the year. I didn't see a lot of layups. A lot of jump shots, not a lot of layups.
Yeah,
three ball.
That's
a lot of three ball. Baby.
Threes are more than twos, guys. Come on.
Oh yeah, you're gonna make Dimitri.
It's a math.
Dimitri's gonna be very happy with that.
Exactly. That's his known quote. You talked about how you're now coaching coaches, right? So what responsibilities do trainers and coaches have now with the whole shift of NIL, highlight reels, the shift of the game for both men and women, high school basketball, training? Like, what's the role and what responsibilities do you think is important for trainers to have?
I'm a critic of the craft of training and coaching. And I think the biggest blind spot by most trainers is not teaching star players how to lift their teammates with their skill set. So they'll teach them how to score, but they don't teach them the simple ways to manipulate, help defense to get other people's shots and how that dominates. And I think it's a chasing stats thing. I think it's a social media thing. But I'll never forget Jason Tatum's game 1 against Golden State, I think, or maybe it was LA or somebody. No, it was when they played in the finals against the Warriors. He was 13 points, 13 assists, 0 turnovers, and got criticized on social media. And they won by 20.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me like, wait a minute. This guy just played a brilliant game. He redistributed the ball out of double teams, made his teammates better, and now he's getting criticized. And if I was going to say anything, like his coach should have really took a hard line on that. But I don't think, as a coach, you don't think about being a presence on social media or in the media. You probably don't think about it as much to protect your players. Some coaches think that way. And I thought that was a missed opportunity because I thought Jason Tatum played how he needs to play to be the player he can be. And I think he's gotten pushed into being a scorer. And I don't know that anybody's really teaching him how to lift his teammates with game reads. And Kobe had to learn it. Michael Jordan had to learn it. So it's there. Even as a great player, you're going to get doubled by good coaches. And so you got to read the game. And if you're late on that read, it throws the timing off and then your players don't shoot as well. But if you make that read early, now the player's catching rhythm and now you're making them better. You're giving them energy as the best player with the timing of the ball, the energy of the ball, and getting them the ball where they can score.
So is that more of a stat sheet thing that they didn't say 26 points, 13 assists, or rather than 13 points? That's why he's getting criticized? Or is it the style of play felt like he got criticized for?
He didn't shoot well in the game, but he played a brilliant game.
Yeah.
But he didn't get credit for playing the game the right way. He just got criticized. And I think our culture is hypercritical, and I think social media is hypercritical. And I think as a community, as a team, as a coaching staff, you got to work on how you lift some of that chaos and you make a safe environment for your players. But I do think trainers, I think it's a missed opportunity for trainers to teach their players not just the skill of how to score, but also how to draw, read defense, and make their teammates better. So I think that's probably the biggest miss I see, especially with high level players.
So when you look at players like Jewell, who are both, high performance athletes, creators in their own right, in their game, what do they represent by where the game is going as a whole?
I think the game is pure, right? I think people mess the game up or confuse the game, and the whole 3 and layups and not shooting mid range doesn't make sense. It's an information point, but it's not the whole story. So, but I think the game, if people are competing, the game tells the story of where the game is at. The game tells the story. So I think that there's always accountability in the game when you play the game. So I just look for trends in the game personally. I notice the defenses are so high that I think playing off the baseline will be probably the next thing that'll come. Will be the next thing, how to really manipulate defenses and put your offensive players on the baseline more. I think you'll see some more of that. I think off-ball movement is coming back. So I think there's trends, right? Because the people are competing and they want to take the 3-point shot away and guard the rim. And so now you got to attack other areas.
Yeah.
Why do you love the short corner?
Well, quick story. Jewell was playing in the year that she had plantar fasciitis.
Yeah.
The team, Stewie had left. Sue had just retired. And she was it on Seattle. And she was having problems getting open because they would put her in the corner, which always fascinates me how people put you in the corner. I would never play you in the corner. Rarely I'd play you in the corner, but anyways, they put you in the corner and I said, okay, go to the short corner. And I said, once you're in the short corner, which is at 17 feet on the baseline, go there and then you just read. Now you're 2 steps for a layup. You're 1 step for a 3. And the defender has to play you at a different angle, so it opens up more space. And if they play too close to you, you got them beat with 1 step. So I think the short corner for me is more valuable than the corner. I'm unique in that thinking probably. Most people want to put people in the corners. I don't, unless we're in transition and they're wide open. But when the defender matches up, I think you want to shrink their defensive shifts. You want to put them closer to the rim, or you want to leave them where you can beat them with one step. So I think the short corner shrinks defense and gives you more options and puts you closer to action, both to get a 3-point shot and to get a layup.
So looking back at Jewell's offseason going into the 25 for Vegas, like what were some of the things you kind of wanted to polish on her game, her craft, going into the 25 season with Vegas?
Well, I mean, I just think we needed to get back to neutral. It was awful. Like Seattle was just bad. It was just a hard time.
It was
a hard.
so
So the
bad that
environment kind
my
of
shot
yeah.
and like my everything, my form, how I was lifting into my shot was just off. Remember,
Yeah,
you're
but
like,
I didn't even like because of what you were going
I
through.
know,
I
but
didn't even evaluate her shot when she was in
it was
Seattle.
just so bad.
I
I
was
had to
just
like go
trying to
back to
get
the
her
basics.
through it. Like,
It's just the energy, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, because when people are trying to create a false narrative that's just not true, and then you're in it and you're part of those lies,
Mhm.
like that's her whole day. That's her whole life. Like, you know, and I'll just never forget when the season ended. Like about 11 of the players, you guys all got together, and it was just like a therapy session, talking about what they'd been through. You know,
Yeah, at the hookah spot.
so I think like it was different. Like we just needed to find joy and just kind of support her in that. And she went and played, so it was a little different because you went and played down in Miami
Yeah.
with Unrivaled, so she wasn't around as much. And we felt good about Seattle. We felt good about Vegas, and when that went down, we were like, okay, good. Like that's a great spot, and which it turned out to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But again, it was a hard journey through it, like anything at a high level.
It was definitely needed the reset for sure coming back. And we just kind of went back to the basics. Like I was playing like some of the high schoolers here. I was like, we're just doing anything that we did basically growing up. And just like
Well,
resetting everything.
And I also feel like my job is to support the person that I'm working with, whether it's a 10-year-old or, best two guard on the planet. Jewell is to support her on her journey and help her with her thinking, not to try to manipulate it, but try to support her, challenge her, and let her work through it. And that's like, honestly, that's one of the best things I've seen in you. Your maturity of how you've grown. You think about people. You don't react emotionally as much. You were a bit bratty when I first met you.
Yeah, I was a tennis player for half my life. I was by myself all the time. So like all I know is like me, like you have to be like that growing up. Like you have no other friend. Like, you're just out there playing with Calvin, like me and my dad going back and forth at it. So I had to be a little bratty. But I think my evolution of a shooter is pretty cool because I was not, I wouldn't consider myself a shooter. I was just a scorer growing up. Like it was like, go score the ball.
Yeah.
And that was
Put the
what I
ball
did.
in the hoop.
It was like I had a great form. I used to swing my shot, you fix my swing. So how do you elevate someone's shot? Like what? Like I know we did it, but like, can you talk about like the first things you do when you see someone come in the gym, work on their shot, work on their game? I mean, your eye is so quick, and I've been everywhere. You've been everywhere, and there's not.
I don't know
anyone
anybody
who does
that
it.
fixes mechanics faster than me.
I don't think so either.
I don't. I've never seen anybody.
I would die in my grave saying that.
But I don't have a system.
You don't.
I don't. I just kind of look at the player and I look
Yes.
at how their body's moving. And then I think of mechanical drills, biomechanical drills that they can do to correct that.
Yeah.
And I try to simplify it. And then I try to give them systems because all great shooters do the work.
Yeah.
No coach does the work. I don't do the work. I can see the problem and maybe make a plan and do a guided experience, but I can't do it. You have to do it.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And I think that's what makes me different. I don't have a one system. Everybody does one way. I just don't think there's one way. Steph Curry is different than Klay Thompson. They play on the same team at the same time, but they have different systems of how they develop.
Yeah.
And they both are two of the greatest shooters in the world, right? So I'm big on that. I'm big on individual plan and how to support the player's plan. And it's so funny to hear you say that you didn't think of yourself as a great shooter because I just got you, and then you were a great shooter. I didn't
think I was.
I thought
it was always flat.
Nah, when you train the right way, it's not. It's got good arc, and you shoot a high percentage.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I was a shooter though.
So like the smallest.
No, I agree, but you became that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But that's not. Wasn't my plan for you to become that. I wanted you to be a lethal, like you can be, like you should utilizing your handle to lift your team and all that. Yeah. But you've become one of the most. You got to be considered one of the best clutch shooters in the history of the WNBA. If you look at numbers, if you look at the percentage of clutch shots, you look at clutch
time. Yeah.
I don't know who has better stats than you in that. I didn't even look at it, but I'm guessing from what I've been watching in the WNBA, you're the most clutch shooter I've seen.
Yeah. So the one smallest tweak can make the biggest difference when it comes to hand placement. I think the biggest thing you said is Klay Thompson and Steph Curry on the same team. They shoot differently. Their hand placement on the ball is a little different.
Yeah.
So the one smallest tweak can make the biggest difference.
Well, and it's the biomechanics are the biomechanics, but they're different. Everybody's body might work a little differently.
Yeah.
And then their mind too, how their mind works and what they really want to work on. I really want to try to help them find energy in themselves to do the work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really trying to trigger. So I'm looking for savages.
Okay.
I'm looking for people that want to get after it, that are mentally there. Yeah. And it's all about the people.
Yeah.
Even when you're picking your students, you know.
So encouragement is key too.
Oh, I know. I think it's funny. I'm studying coaching. I'm studying. I had a family, and the dad was a professional rugby coach. And so I watched the Canadian women's rugby team, and the coach is brilliant, and the women's rugby is phenomenal. And I'm like, whoa, this team's great. Then I watch them play England, and England smashes them in the game, but it was like a competitive game. So then I start looking at that guy and their systems of coaching. And then this guy says to me, hey, you need to check this guy, Wayne Smith, out. So I've been researching this New Zealand rugby coach. They call him the Professor Wayne Smith. He's brilliant and he's kind, but he's also, he's a driver. Like when he coaches, he says he's got edgy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I like
this guy. It's kind of like me.
And the term that he stumbled on, I heard in a podcast and talked about, is learned optimism. And that it's proven fact that a pessimist does not perform as well as an optimist. But you can learn optimism. And I think encouragement and kindness for our club at Full Package, it's a base. Like that's the starting base. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be moments where you get challenged or it's rough. There's going to be tears because it's a competitive sport. Like, it's hard if you're really playing with your heart.
Of course.
So I think, being kind and being encouraging, and positive narration and coaching. Now, Jewell didn't always get a lot of that, but as I've gotten older, I'm doing more like, how do you layer what's happening well in your teaching? So how do you point out and use the correction of what's right as an example, instead of always like, you didn't do that wrong, you need to get your butt down. Instead of it always being like a correction, how do you lift and teach through what's happening the right way, the correct way?
So it's like, compliment the good, but these are areas of opportunity that can be resolved.
Okay, Danny, I see
this
you.
Guy might be the next governor of California.
Whoa.
Don't give me that job, please. Do not give me that job. And we talk about, leadership and Jewell's leadership through her craft, her work ethic, her relentlessness. And I constantly give Jewell this and her flowers all the time. Like, I never see her take a play off. How you think that rubbed off on her teammates this year as well? And going into the 25 season when Vegas acquired her?
Well, I think Jewell is kind to everyone. She gives everybody a chance, and she sees people, and so I think that she's not like I've never seen. That's not true. It's interesting because
I might have seen her get pissed like
no,
twice.
I've seen her
get hot a little bit.
No, I've seen, but I would say you're 90-10. 90% of the time you're competing, you're connected, you're encouraging, and then 10% of the time. But I didn't see you that way with this team because you were new.
Yeah.
And again, that's emotional intelligence. You're smart. You understood the room. You understand the social. So you took a supportive role. I saw you trying to calm people down, encourage people the whole year. And I think that's more of your vent. I think that's the way you like to be. I don't think you like to be in confrontation. So I think her style is more of encouraging and by playing the right way too. I think you set a good example. But I also like you look for opportunities. The other thing you do great is you celebrate when other players play well. And I love that about you. It's one of my favorite things because you're in it, man. You're like in it with them, and you're getting joy from their success. And I think that's a great.
It's contagious.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's great.
I literally watch games, and then when KB gets hot or Dana's getting hot for three, the first person to jump is her. Towel waving, anything like that, man. And that's
exciting.
Contagious. And the whole bench is going crazy. You get the fans getting going too.
It's awesome. Like
fun, right?
Your teammates scoring or doing something great, like something that in practice maybe was difficult for that person, and they go in the game and they execute. It's like that's the best moment to celebrate because it's like that's even harder to perform in front of everybody, right? Maybe it's easier to do it in practice, no one's looking, and you're like, okay, I did it once. I get another try, do it again. But to do it when the lights are on, it's awesome.
It's real fun. Except the one time where I saw Jewell get frustrated, she like.
Oh yeah, I'm good for one punch of a chair. I'm good for one punch
She
of a
hit
chair.
that chair so damn
Yeah,
hard.
no,
Well,
I'm
just
good for
in
one
case you're
punch.
wondering, that was Monte like the whole year, just mad, didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that was a little rough, but let's head into halftime.
Yeah.
I had to kind of put Steve and Monte on D&D
That's right.
for half the
That's right.
season because I was just annoyed. They were pissing me off. I was just frustrated. They didn't see the vision at first. They were yelling at me. It was just too much. I had Calvin calling me. I had my family calling me. Like, Jared's like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." He hangs up. I'm like, "Thank God." Out of everyone,
Jared had other things to worry about.
Out of everybody in the world, he's the only one who's like, "All right, I love you. See ya." Everyone else is like, "Ah." So I finally returned your call.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 months in, I finally call him. And you want to continue?
Take us through that.
I was challenging you on the fact that you were being passive offensively, not defensively. I thought defensively you were great, and I thought your movement actually improved physically. Like you were moving better this year. But offensively, you were stationary, not engaging, and you were letting Jackie and Chelsea figure things out, and Becky. And I thought you could have been doing more even in that process. So I was challenging you on that from my couch in Chicago while you're living it. So I try to respect that too, right? I want to have an opinion, but I don't like, I want the opinion to be able to get you to think and challenge yourself. And you're like, "Steve, I'm not doing that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And you're like, "It's going to like, I got to let it settle." I'm like, "Listen, like, because it really looked in the beginning of the year, because Seattle got the number 2 pick, and that woman is going to be a great, great player.
Yeah.
So out of that whole draft where you went to Vegas, they got a stud, like a great player, which just FYI, if anybody's wondering, I would have played her right from the beginning of the year. She would have very rarely ever come off the court for me.
Yeah.
Facts. And they'd beaten you, and you hadn't played well. You've been a little inconsistent against them. And so the narrative looked like, because Seattle was winning and Vegas was not. And I'm like, Jewell, like, we're in the fight. And Jewell was just kind of like an elite racehorse, like just kind of waiting her time to like hit her stride. And I was like, the impatient trainer going, "What are you doing?" And so we start arguing. And
we're good for one good argument a year, maybe every 4 years, maybe.
I mean, you guys have to bump heads sometimes.
And I say, "Look, I go, what are you doing? Are you trying to like play your way like out of the league? Like, what are you doing?" Oh, I was harsh.
You just let me have it.
Out of the league is crazy.
And I'm like, "You're making them look like they were right. Like you're making them look like their narrative is true, and it's not. And we know it's not. And what are you doing?" And she goes, "Look, Steve, there's things going on here. I am where I'm at." And then she goes, "You advised me to come here." And I'm like, "I did, but I didn't know Jackie was going to try to be the MVP over Asia." Like, I mean, holy cow. Like, but imagine being Becky and having to manage that, because those are 2 great, great players.
Yeah.
And Asia's so humble. So she really wasn't the issue. It was just helping Jackie get organized, which Becky did.
Yeah.
And then you did. And then going to the bench. I was like, going to the bench? Yeah. Kobe wouldn't do that.
Yeah, he was.
He
was livid. Livid.
Like, you rated it? Wait, you
so mad.
This makes
I was just like,
but then Monte and I were on the phone, and I'm like, "Well, Monte," and he's venting. "Oh, she doesn't attack closeout. She's not driving. She doesn't even know how to go to the basket. She won't go off 2 feet. I tell her to do these things." Like, he's going off. And I go, Monte, because this is when you guys started that 17-game winning streak, and you guys were starting to play some good basketball, like you could actually watch it. I was like, the beginning of the year, I couldn't watch it. And I go, "Hey, Monte, she might be right. Jewell might be right in the situation. She might have like." He
calls me back like after this, and he's like, I call him. He's just laughing. I was like, "Hi, Steve." He's like, "Okay, you're right." And he starts laughing. I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Like,
no. It's funny because I'm not competing with people's opinions. I'm like over that. Like, I'm over just trying to join with people on their thought processes and try to help them maximize that. And I'm not trying to like be right. Like, being right is not that important. Being curious and caring about people, that's more important to me. That's really how I try to drive my interaction and my leadership style.
Even before that conversation, you guys are watching it on TV. It might have been a hate watch for you, which is fine.
It wasn't
totally
a hate
understand.
watch. It was a switch to like go watch the Indiana Fever.
He loved that second round of playoffs then.
Oh, it was
Oh,
good.
I know you
They
did. Jewell being known, all through her career for her mental toughness too. Like even when she is going through a slump or if she's going through something where you don't see it, but she believes in it. Like, what does that conversation look like when it comes to like her getting into a reset? Like, is it something like that? Is it something that she has to kind of figure out within the game? Is it something that you kind of just bring up to her, give her kind of words of wisdom?
Well, if I don't understand something, I'll ask direct questions. And so I
Very,
get her
very
opinion.
direct.
I don't just want her opinion. I also want how she's thinking about it and how she feels about it. Because then that'll help me be more in line with her, so that I can support her thinking and process.
So in a situation like that where that phone call happened,
Yep. I
going
backed
through
up.
your mind is like a
Right.
process.
And I started recalibrating and I started watching the games differently and I started just and then all of a sudden she got on the bench and it worked. So,
And we started talking again, and life was good. I
you
still
guys
didn't
are
talk to
friends
Monte
again,
as much, but Steve was,
yeah,
getting
well,
on my
I
good
thought,
side.
yeah, you cut Monte off, which
That's
sorry,
crazy.
happens.
I did.
It
True
happens.
story.
What was interesting was when the playoffs started on that, because then there was a little regression because playoff basketball changes in the WNBA and the NBA.
Mhm.
Like it's different basketball and, they're playing for all the money. The
Yeah.
lights are all on. And I thought Vegas got a little selfish offensively and it lengthened those series. Those series did not have to go that long, but
Scenic route.
yeah, they
Took the
right.
scenic route.
That's a good way to say it. They took
She
the
wasn't
scenic
on
route.
90. She
Right,
wasn't
I
on
mean-
90 putting her foot on the gas.
Well, and thank God for Jackie with the tip in against
Man.
Seattle.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome,
Big.
and I thought it was awesome for the whole team, but for her too.
Yeah.
Like it was good for her to have that moment. I mean, I like how Jackie, I like her as a person. So just to see, and I think you also had a really generous view of that, where you allowed her to have her time, and you supported that, even in our private conversations. And she should know that. She should know that you had her back the whole time she was working through becoming the great player that she is. During that season, because she went to a different level. Jackie went
For
to
sure.
a different
Mhm.
level.
It was so cool to see.
Yeah.
And it was. And even though you were sacrificing who you were until the finals.
Oh, yeah.
And
We'll get into
that's
that, yeah.
like we have all these, Jewell has invested in so many people in the area. And so we're all texting. And game one of the finals, Jewell came out like a gunslinger. And it was like her old stride. And you just knew like, all right, the politics, everything's over. Now it's winning time.
Yeah.
And she was, and I was getting, Jewell's back. Everyone was like, Jewell, she's here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was so joyful.
Yeah.
Like just watching you walk on the court, I'm like, oh, that's my girl.
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Yeah. It was funny because, Lou Matello, he texted me after game one. He's like, your first shot brought me to tears. I was like, man, because he's been in it with us, right?
Oh.
He's been through it so much himself, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
knows everything. So for him to have that emotional attachment to this seeing that and then bringing like that kind of joy to people who've been waiting to see it all season, it was like, okay, like I got you guys, like we're good, But it's cool to have those memories and coaches who've been with you for many, many years and see that, and it was funny. I mean, Lou was like, he's in it. I stress him out a lot, but he's in it.
Well, in when I first started training Jewell, Lou would text me, hey, I watched this game. You need to call Jewell. She's out. So I would get these, like, he would prompt me to like, because, like, I don't want to like be like hovering, like, I just want to be a supportive coach, trainer, whatever you want to call me, mentor. Yeah. But he would always be like and we couldn't even watch the Vegas first half of the year. It was just, and even you still sacrificed a lot, even in the 17-game winning streak. You still were, you took a supportive role, but it was better because the ball was moving but the finals, you were you. And that was,
What do you
that
think
was heartfelt for me. Like I was so proud of you and just so proud of the whole team too. Like, and Becky, like you guys really, you guys really did. You guys played really good basketball at the end. Like it was really good to watch. It was fun to watch.
What do you think what do you think flips the switch in Jewell's mind when it's round 2 compared to the finals? Like how did you see such a different like focus from her and her mindset change when you go from the Indiana series that goes 5 games And then when you see that game one, like you mentioned, that first shot going, I'm like, there's Jewell.
Well, they might not have gotten there if Jewell had stepped up against Indiana Fever. I mean, the way the Indiana Fever played was amazing. Like they maxed out as a staff and as players.
Sure.
They overachieved.
And you guys had to beat them. Like they didn't go away.
It was
they
like,
did
oh my
not
gosh,
go
like
away.
we had to like, bro,
and,
down there like
I know.
stressing out, like
no, it
towel,
was
getting everything. Electrolytes were all getting like electrolyte packets and like, all right, guys, come on, next round. It's like haymakers. It's like it's
and then
uppercuts.
you closed that game. You closed that game. That game 5. You closed that game. You got them into overtime, and then you stepped up. You were in the front, and I think that, and just the fact that you guys were right on the verge of it, I think. My interpretation was it just kind of gave you the confidence to say, okay, now I can be myself. Everybody's safe. And now I can perform I can go be myself. And I thought you did.
And that carried into the finals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought that she, like when getting through the Indiana series and the way she had to step up for them offensively, I think it kind of freed her, freed them. Everybody was, at that point, all the politics go out and it's just like win the championship.
You just gotta find a way to win.
And Chelsea Gray was great in the finals. Like
so good.
Yeah, she just started bullying. She found her angles.
Yeah.
And
times.
Yeah.
She just seems like I mentioned before, like we're in practice and she threw the ball between like 4 people's legs from top of the like it's like how no one got it. Like it was like it's like things like that. Like, she just sees in the angle. She's like, yeah, like that's normal. And we're all just like, that's not normal, Chelsea. Like, how are you doing this? So that's why the whole play in Seattle when she threw it too early and the ball, Jackie didn't get it. It was like she never does that, like she would have gone like this and threw it. She probably would have threw a perfect lob pass to Jackie, So it's like, her ability to just find the gaps and the angles is no one else does it.
And I thought Dina Evans had a breakout year. I thought she established herself as a legit scorer in the league and a great energy player. So that was kind of cool to watch that too, because she had never really had a season like that.
Yeah, she was playing through injury too. I mean, a lot of people didn't know that. So after season, like her knee was bothering her. Even like, going to final, she's like, God, I couldn't have made it any longer. So thank God Asia hit that shot. And like she was like, thank God, because I was dragging that knee across. It's like we know, like we've been with it with you, and to see her have that confidence, and she's about that life. We talked about it. Like she's a gamer. Like she
definitely is.
She's electrifying. Yeah, she does not back down.
And it's funny because I've seen her in other environments where like she didn't really have that, or just where she was at with the Chicago Sky, and then to see her emerge.
Yeah.
But it was funny because she was emerging while you were backing up.
Me and Dana are like this, man.
I know, but I was watching. I'm like, well, why don't you just play like Dana? Dana's trying. She's not worried about a closeout. Like she's just going by him. What's wrong with you? Like, in my mind, like, what's going on? Like, so
it's crazy because like I remember one post game presser, Becky was talking about like we need Dana to go downhill. Like I want her every time she has the ball, if she has the matchup or not, she has the ability to do it, and I'm giving her the green light to do it. And she took full advantage of that.
So fast.
She was electrifying, man. She was fun to watch.
It's a little.
It's
funny how they
people dancing.
You know how who got coach of the year in the WNBA? Wait, it was Becky. Like to me, it was Becky.
Well,
like whatever.
Monte speaking. Is that Monte? Who was it?
Valkyrie's coach.
Yeah, the Valkyries coach, right? Which was great, which is fair.
Staff.
Which is great, which is fair. But like what Becky did, because I thought Cheryl Reeves did an unbelievable job too. I think she's had a real good window the last couple of years. Like she has been amazing with her teams. But I thought what Becky had to do to sort that out so that they could then make a run and win the championship was just brilliant. Like brilliant coaching, like always on point when you guys come out of timeouts, like the right person's getting the ball at the right spot. I mean, and just getting you guys to mesh. It was fun to watch that part. Like as it crystallized, as it evolved, it was fun.
It was interesting too for me, like whether I was making shots, missing shots. The quote I always remember you saying, it's like, and you have to have the confidence to miss. And when I say that to people, they're like, "That it makes no sense." I'm like, "Oh, it's Steve Pratt." Like, but I'm like, "Can you like dive into?"
I can.
They don't understand that. They're like, "What idiot says that?" I'm like, "No, it's actually a very smart thing, but you have to understand like the backing behind it." So can you like kind of go into that mindset of like that?
I moved to Chicago to work for a company that went out of business. It was a youth sports company. I came in as systems analyst, evaluate, So I'm looking to get in the game, and so there was a junior college, a guy. Introduced me to Willie Little, who's the coach at Kennedy King Junior College on the South Side. So I drive down, and he thought, like they said, "Oh yeah, this guy's a physical coach." He thought that I would train her, like I was a strength coach. So he said, "Yeah, you work these guys out." So I was doing strength work with him because
you
like
so
our strength work routine.
Oh,
handoffs.
Okay.
That thing's
I'm thinking
brutal.
like,
Oh,
No,
I
not
thought you were
lift
in the
weights.
weight
No,
room.
on court. Like we were
yeah,
doing all
okay.
on court strength.
That makes more
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
So then, but there's some players who get there early, and I'd be working with them on technical stuff. He goes, hey, do that. Really little. You coach him. So I would do training. I started training. So I went from being like the strength coach on court to being like a skills coach for him. And he would give these lectures, and I'd be sitting there. And I've spoken at 5-star. I'm pretty good at getting in front of people and
you're amazing,
teaching.
actually.
And Willie Little's, he's got oxygen hooked up. He's older in life. He's passed away now, but he was so generous to me. And he's giving these lectures to these young junior college guys, and I'm watching him, and I'm looking around. This is brilliant. Like he talked about possessions a game. He would talk about the possessions are different from a player's perspective and a coach's perspective. And so I'm like learning. I'm like in school. I'm like, this guy is amazing. And he's got the oxygen hooked up. He's a big guy. And so I learned so much from it. And I learned that term from him. He goes, great shooters, they have confidence to miss because you're going to miss. And you have to have confidence to miss shots. And that's where I learned it at Kennedy King Junior College. Willie Little, shout out Hall of Famer. I can't wait to have dinner with him in heaven someday. He was so good to me. You know, when you're new in a place, the people that are really kind to you and really like pour into you, and he did that for me.
You know, looking into the game itself and the future of the game, future of the W, basketball, but predominantly the W, it keeps evolving. Defenses are getting faster. Players are getting better. The skills are, off the charts. How are you and Jewell kind of adapting her game specifically to what's going on in the league and how the league is kind of changing?
Women's basketball is really improving, and and the coaching's improving, and it's just awesome to watch. Like it's just getting higher. Like if you watch college basketball, I've been watching all these games. Amazing players. Like at small colleges, there's amazing players. Like so the level, because of all the trainers and because of all the information on the internet, players are getting better because they can resource the information. Coaches can resource it, trainers. So players are better. Like there's just better players. So I think the level of play is raising, which I think is better for Jewell because the more skilled players that are around her, the better she's going to be able to play. Like she was able to do it at Las Vegas this year. She's able because she can initiate offense. She can play out of the high post. She can come off screens and score. She can spot, catch, and shoot. So she can do it all. So for her, it's just really finding the rhythm with the players she's with.
And for you, like going into that, when you see it, when you're saying so, you're famously known for saying everyone's got a bag now. But for you, like, how are you adding on one certain thing to your game?
By finishing. Is that the answer you want me to say, Stephen Pratt?
Well, Jewell and I got in an argument the other day.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Well, Jewell was lying.
Here we go.
She was lying. She was saying, "Oh, I finished fine." Oh no, you suck at finishing.
And I said I only took 10 layups all season.
Yes, exactly.
So, but if I took 60 layups,
you know why? Because you're smart. Because you're freaking smart,
yeah.
and you knew that you didn't have a rhythm. You knew that with what was going on with spacing.
100%.
Yeah,
I was like, do not pass. If I'm open, I maybe think about passing me, but I'm going to the corner to shoot my three. I'm sending a screen for Asia. I'm like, that's smart basketball. You want to win?
Yes.
You find the best player.
Agreed. I cannot, in the moment, you not attacking a closeout that I know you can go by to shoot a 15-footer is hard to digest when you know you can do it. But when you look at the whole picture and how you were fitting in with the group, it makes sense.
I mean, to really that is a part of the game, but
of course,
to me, it's all about my fundamentals. But I think where my mind is just ahead of a lot of people. I think my understanding how to attack people and how to play mind games, kind of what we talked about, how Kobe would be like, watching film and you see someone not, connecting with their teammates, you kind of egg that on a little bit.
Yeah.
Or, hey, coach, great play last game. Hey, that's where I feel like I'm at, where I can see things, kind of edge thing on and have more confidence to say that just because I feel like I know a lot more about the game now than I did when I first obviously got into the game.
A little cerebral.
Yeah.
Cerebral assassin over here,
I feel like as you get older too, you just don't care. It's just
playing mind
you're able to do that. Yeah. Little Diana Taurasi in there a little bit, right?
You know, one of my favorite head game things was when Courtney Williams goes by Skylar, lays it up, and then turns to her and goes, "Hey, you lost a step, huh?" It's so good. It's so good. The mind game, right?
True story. Yeah, it's just mind games, man.
Yeah.
I think you can add that into that because if you make a player think about what you're going to say or the fear of I don't want to get them poke the bear, then you have the opportunity to score because they're thinking about that and not thinking about what they're doing right then and there. So I think that's my ability to do that on top of everything else. I mean, when this season is back to us just being a savage, really fine tune all our skills, from shooting my left hand again from just being creative. I think I can't take the creativeness out of my game because that's how I started.
I know, I mean, obviously you're around consummate pros like around you, but like, are you looking at anybody else's bag and be like, maybe I could add that on too? Or maybe that's something that I can kind of do or, perfect or anything like that.
In my head, I'm always trying to figure out how Aubrey Gavin throws the no look behind the back pass through people's legs.
She's looking for the pass.
She's doing that. She's
No,
in fourth grade.
So meaning that so no, the ball she'll have Aubrey plays for Vanderbilt. She's a freshman there. She was at full package her whole career. She starts evaluating the movement of the players because I've asked her. So she'll see how they'll react to her move, not the person guarding her, but the help defenders. And so she's already thinking about their movement and their shifts and where the passes will be. Where a scorer like you or me, we're thinking about, okay, how do we manipulate them to get an open shot? She's not. She's manipulating to get the best shot for the team.
Yeah.
She does it all the time.
She's so good.
That's a floor general right there.
Dude.
That's a pure point guard right there.
You guys haven't watched Vanderbilt play? Go watch them. Aubrey's the real deal. She's been
and the other Michaela Blake. She's a dog too.
Exactly.
So they got two, and they're both small. So you got two small, nasty guards.
Pit bulls.
They dare.
It's fun to see her growth. But I mean, I'm always watching basketball. Like I've learned things from watching my nephew Josiah, who's had 20 points yesterday against 7th graders, and he's like this big. Floater game, unreal. So I'll watch anything to learn. So, definitely trying to just grow anywhere I can. I want to evolve. So maybe it's a little bit more being better with my left hand.
I honestly think if I would really focus on your off-ball movement. I think you're reading your cuts better.
Yeah.
And looking at how to create setup cuts to set up shots. Like, move out of an area to go back to an area. Screening. I just think, especially with so many skilled players, I think, and especially playing off Jackie and Chelsea, I just think off-ball movement is how you can support them in their decision-making, and it'll create more opportunities for you.
Yeah, it's fun.
If you were going to take my advice, it would be really lock in on your off-ball movement.
Yeah, for sure.
And you've trained so many different players, like obviously someone like Jewell, someone like Aubrey, more of the new school generation. I'm not going to call you old school yet.
No, it's fine.
You're in your prime, so I'm not going to call you old school. But you coach the old school as well. Like, your approach to that is, are you still instilling that kind of old school mentality into the new generation players as well? Are you kind of grasping what they're doing and trying to perfect that?
What is the old school mentality? Just curious. Like, frame that for me.
For me, I think when I watch basketball, is like, obviously when you point guard brings it down, you're finding someone in the post, you're having action movement, and then you're finding an open shooter, or the guy has a mismatch down low, he's taking it. Or she's taking it and getting a basket. So you're working more inside out, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you're talking about from a player or for a coach.
Oh, for a coach.
Okay, for a coach. So let's look at Steve Kerr. And Steve Kerr has mastered off-ball movement and manipulating the position of defender. So I think that is brilliant, and that's what I'm trying to master. How to screen in transition. So for me, I'm looking for those kind of trends of how you create advantages by how you move your players and create patterns of their movement. So once you create a pattern, so if there's a pin down coming, so what we're doing is we're running the 3-point shooter to the baseline, and then we have the next people coming down are setting pin downs. So it's like floppy, like, 2 pin downs, and now the 3-point shooter can get an exit screen into a 3-point shot. So we're doing that in transition. So that's how I kind of look at new school coaching, creating a tempo. And so I'm all in on that. Off-ball movement, off-ball screens. And I think differently than a lot of coaches. And I'm okay with that.
So you adapted more to the new trends.
Yeah, no, well, I look for like what makes sense and what actually will work for the team that I'm working with at the time, or the coach I'm advising at the time.
Yeah.
You don't want to advise somebody like, hey, we're going to throw the ball into the post, and the post is 5'9", and they're playing against 6'3". Okay, why don't we lift that to a mid post and then they can face up, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to like adapt my advice to what the coach can do and what the player personnel that they have can execute.
Yeah. Right now, what excites you about the state of basketball for the women's side and for the men's side?
I love basketball, obviously. I just think the game is growing globally. I think coaches are now being held more accountable. And so I think to watch coaches grow more to be more nurturing and growth oriented and supportive of players. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited for that, for the coaching evolution of how to maximize your impact on the people that you're coaching. And I want to be part of that. Like that's really what I'm going to go into. I'm going to go into coaching coaches.
From a basketball perspective, when they say analytics, are you still are you calling the people who run analytics nerds, or are you basing a player's skill based off the eye test as well? Is it a good balance? Like, what do you think the best approach is for that to evaluate someone's talent and their skill?
The funny thing is, I think baseball's been held hijacked by analytics too, and basketball, like where they're saying it's 3 or layups. That's it.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna do.
Like when you see a shot chart.
Yeah, and so, but it's not true for championship teams, and it's not true for elite players.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's limiting for elite players. That's limiting for, and Boston, I think, is a great example. Boston Celtics just went all out on threes. See you later. Exit. Yeah. Like I think, and when they won it, they were dropping Drew Holiday to the baseline and throwing it to him in a post-up
corner.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And
he was like a mismatch.
So the year they won it, but then the coach bought into like, okay, we're just going to bomb threes.
Yeah.
And I think that's a mistake. I think attacking one way and not being able to read the game and adapt to how the defense is playing you is you limit yourself. Yeah. And some people just can't think that way. They develop their system and then they have their plays that they call. My goal is to never call any plays, to have the systems in and have the players know the reads and have a feel for each other. And that's what I'm most excited about that.
And I think Kobe said it best for those Houston Rocket teams, especially James Harden-led Houston Rockets. It works in the regular season because it's a different look. Playoffs come around, the spacing is not as what it used to be in the regular season.
No.
When it gets down to crunch time, you need someone to get it on the block, get you a mid-range shot, or get your own bucket. You can't just rely on it's really to the corner every time, right?
Exactly.
It's really interesting. I'd love to talk to Steve Kerr about this. I'd love to hear his view on this. The year when Golden State beat them in Game 7, where Chris Paul had gotten hurt.
Oh yeah.
And I know because I knew somebody on D'Antoni's staff. Like James Harden played slower than what he wanted to play, and then Chris Paul is ball dominant. So you had these two really unguardable guys that could hold the ball as long as they wanted. And they would hold the ball and do isolation basketball, and it disrupted Golden State's flow. Mm-hmm. So it really, the way they played offense screwed up Golden State's offense. And if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, they may have just accidentally stumbled onto it because of their skill set was so high.
Yeah.
And they had the right support around them. But when he got hurt, they couldn't control the ball as much, and so Golden State was able to get in the flow.
And on the flip side of that, I think it was Game 6 where they literally missed 27 straight threes.
Yeah.
So on the flip side of that, it's like where's what coaching adjustment do you make? They're like, okay, we just missed 27 straight threes.
Like, what do you do?
This is not working.
I still would love to talk to Steve because I think I've analyzed it. I think I've got it now, but it just looked like the way that they played really disrupted Golden State, and Golden State couldn't get a flow. And it was fascinating for me. I was thinking, was that D'Antoni's game plan? It wasn't, but it kind of evolved in the game, and then you kind of ride with it. The players are able to do it. Let's try to win.
We got to get Steve Kerr on the podcast. Break it down to Steve and Steve.
Man. Oh, I love that.
On the warehouse.
Steve squared.
Steve squared. Golden State and the way that they've played and the way he's coached has been that's been my number one source that I kind of look at and study. And I've been the most enjoyable as a fan of basketball is watching Golden State because I think they play with joy. I love Draymond Green. I think probably he's got a little extra, but he's got to protect Steph Curry. So
kind of need that.
Yeah, right. You might need him to be like that, right? So you got to look at all that. But I think that for me, that's been the most new age basketball. And now they're getting a little old. And, it's hard to run around when you're older.
Yeah. But they're the gold standard of what modern basketball basically is now.
They look like
well, I think the Spurs when they blew out the Miami Heat, and they went they were going 0.5, they were trying to move the ball really quickly, and they went to the point center with Boris Diaw, and he played like a point power forward. I mean, that was brilliant basketball. They were going to the baseline, bringing it back out. Guys were cutting off drives. It was that was kind of to me, that was the first time I'd kind of seen it. And then Golden State, I thought, brought it to a whole nother level.
They perfected it, basically.
They did.
Right.
But man, that beautiful game, you got a good shot. I got a great shot for you. Here you go.
That's what basketball is. That's why he's saying it's pure. It's that right there. It doesn't happen often, and when it does, it's magical. But Steve, thank you for being on the warehouse.
Thank you for
being
showing the
honest
love
with
of the
us, being
game.
true with us, sharing all the stories. Obviously, it's not going to be the last time you're going to be on the show with us. We need you
Yeah.
back like once a month.
Yeah.
You definitely do. You know, you talked
Yeah.
about your mindset, the craft, the evolution of coaches. I think that's really a big thing right now. It's the game needs better coaches that care and want to encourage the next generation of players to be great at their craft, build a community around them, change their mindset. And so we thank you. I'm Jewell. This is Danny. Be epic, create forever. Join us on the warehouse. Like and subscribe. Share with your crew.
Make sure to like, subscribe, guys.